Hey, this is Christine, your DIY craftaholic. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and welcome to you if you're new. Now this is the What Month Is It collaboration. I'll talk a little bit more about that in further on, but I'm sharing my contribution to this month, so let's jump right in. Now for DIY number 1 and 2, actually, I'm using these Dollar Tree fall calendar that represents September, and I'm also going to be using some of the thumbnail pictures for magnets. These DIYs are very easy to do and self-explanatory. Now these are farm fresh signs that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm using stick glue here because the hot glue or the Mod Podge would have just caused the paper to bubble, and I didn't want that. And the stick glue worked perfectly. I decided to use the back of the calendar for my design and leave the other side, the painted side, undone. And I'm just going to cover that with some brown paper. This is also from Dollar Tree. And after I glue down the paper, I just use a sanding block to remove the excess from the edges. Now for the border, I decided to use 2 of my twines, one from Dollar Tree and the other I got from the 79-cent or 89-cent store it is now. And I just glued down the end, one end, and as I was going around the corner or going around the edges, I just kind of rolled them in my fingers to bring them together. Now, if you have the Dollar Tree two-tone twine, you can also use that. I have it, but I decided to use these two because both of them together were thicker than the one by itself. And make sure you're using your finger protector because the hot glue is very hot, and I had to reach for mine. And when I got to the end, I just snipped it off and glued it down. Then I took some of this burlap wired ribbon from Dollar Tree, and here I am just going to make a bow. And of course, because it's wired ribbon, it's not that flexible to use. So this is how I'm making it. I just snipped off or cut off the amount that I needed and glued down the ends together, one on top of the other. I didn't want the bow to be too huge because of course the design is already overcrowded. So I chose to use make a small bow rather than having a larger bow. After I glued it down, I just crunched the middle and used a piece of the jute twine to wrap around it, tied it, and then snipped off the excess, and then just used my fingers to kind of like fluff it. And then to get the tails, I just cut off another piece, cut that in two, dovetail the ends, and then for the top, I just make 2 small pleats, glue those down. And for those of you who know a little bit about sewing, those are like kiss pleats, where you fold one side facing the left and the other side facing the right, and both of them meet in the middle. Now these are leftover leaves from a fall pick that I had. I'm gluing those down, and then I glue down the tails on top of that, and then the bow. Now I thought that the middle needed something else. It was too bare. So I took half of one of these circular wooden beads that I have. I got these from wish.com, I believe, last year, and just glued that down in the middle. I then flipped it over and glued down back the same string that came from the sign. And then used my lighter to just burn the end fuzzies from the twine. And this is done. And here is a sneak peek of what it looks like, more in the final reveal. Now this is the What Month Is It collaboration that is hosted by Tammy every month. And this month her co-hosts are Shawnee of Glitzy Stitches DIY and Ellie from DIY from House to Home, and our special guest host this month is Annalie from Annalie Ashby. So next is DIY number 2, and this one is basically the same steps and process like the first one. Now for some reason, I guess because I trimmed off a little piece from this page, it was a little shorter than the plaque or the board, so I had to trim off a piece of the board. Now after I was all done with that, this is where I got to the point where like, okay Christine, what are you going to be doing with this one? So because the word in the middle is like a goldish or golden color, I took my gold marker from Dollar Tree and L square ruler, and just to give me a guide as to how thick I needed the border to be, because the word was almost at the edge of the paper. And then after I was done giving it the border on the flat surface, I went on the border on the edges. And now that was done, I was now ready to give this one a bow as well. So I made this bow just like I did for the first one, being very careful not to cover my pumpkin too much. So if you are new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, welcome. I'm so happy you joined me today. Here on my channel, I do DIYs on a budget, dupes, look for less, and some occasional Dollar Tree shopping hauls and thrift flips. If you love budget-friendly DIYs like these and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit that notification bell. Hit it again and select all so YouTube notifies you whenever I upload new videos. Now the difference with this bow than the one before is I used this piece of wire that I cut off from a previous wired ribbon, fall ribbon, and I just wrapped that over the twine in the middle and glued it down. And here I am just laying them down, just making sure that they are even or centered and not covering too much of the pumpkin. And after gluing on the ribbon and making sure that was set, I then reopened the holes and just fed the twine back in. And this one is also done. Now on to DIY number 3. These are going to be refrigerator magnet. So I'm gluing 3 tumbling tower blocks together, and here I have the natural color and the already painted ones. Now I'm just using the ruler to make sure that they're even. Now you can stain yours or paint yours. I chose to leave mine unpainted or just leave it natural. And then these are the thumbnail pictures from the back of the calendar. I just cut them out and trimmed them down. And I selected the fall and autumn ones. And if you would like to connect with me outside of YouTube, all my links, social media links, can be found in my Linktree address in my description box below. And if you would like to buy me a coffee, that link can also be found there. And I also have 2 journals on Amazon. Those links are also in my description box below, so if you are interested, you can check those out. So now they're all trimmed down and ready to be assembled. I got this pack of magnets. Now these are the ones that has the shell on the outer part of it from Dollar Tree. And once I got those glued on, these are done. And now for the final reveal. Here is my pumpkin patch. Pick your own pumpkin sign. And here is a picture of all that I did today. Now don't forget to check out the playlist as well as the host channels in the description box below. And let me know in the comments which one of these is your favorite today. Now I chose to do these rather than doing any symbol for September because these represent September in my calendar. And I had so much, I just wanted to get them out of the way. Now here is a picture of the magnet on my refrigerator. And if you love budget-friendly content like this, I suggest this video right here or this playlist. And stay safe until next time. Bye!